Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. I hope you guys have all had a great week and are enjoying what appears to be a very bright Friday here in Newcastle, and looking forward to seeing the return of Newcastle United tomorrow as we take on Sheffield Wednesday in the third round of the FA Cup down at the Hillsborough Stadium. 6 p.m. kickoff. Bit of a strange time, but it's on the BBC, so everybody can watch it. And it's the first of back-to-back cup games for Newcastle, as we also play Leicester on Tuesday at St James's Park in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup. So we're hoping, to maybe see two decent cup runs this season. But first, we have to get past Sheffield Wednesday, who we will talk about in this video, and I have no doubt will give us a very good game. We had a great result against Arsenal on Tuesday, took home the point. We want to really crack on with the second half of this season like we did the first. As always in this video, we will talk about what we hope to see from Newcastle in this game. A little bit on Sheffield Wednesday as well. I'll be honest, Newcastle have not got the greatest record against Sheffield Wednesday, so hopefully that's something we can change tomorrow. We'll go into the lineups. Eddie Howe has given his press conference this morning as well, so we'll go through everything he said there, and we'll finish off with predictions too. So let me know your predictions for this game in the comments down below. Generally speaking, there could well be some good news for this one. ISAK has been teased to return to this game, which is very exciting. Elliot Anderson, I think, will probably get a run in, and a lot of what Eddie Howe spoke about in his press conference this morning was getting the right balance to this game. We played on Tuesday, we play tomorrow, we play again on Tuesday, then we're back again at the weekend. And generally speaking, the second half of this season is going to be busy. And we don't have possibly the depth we want in this squad right now, which does bring us onto the January window and the hope that we will go out and bring a few players to help with that. But right here, right now, Eddie Howe's spoken about the balancing act and putting out a team that's good enough to win while still giving players a chance to rest. So yeah, we'll come on to all of that. We'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday a little bit. They are currently second in League One, having a really good season since they got relegated from the Championship, I think 2 years ago now. I think they just about missed out on promotion last season, and they're looking for a shoe-in to get promoted back to the Championship this season. The manager is Darren Moore, who has got things clicking. They're on a fantastic run of form. I think it's over 15 consecutive games without a defeat now. One of the few teams that is currently bettering Newcastle on that front, and that's in all competitions. And they also have a striker up front called Michael Smith, who's from Wallsend. So it's a local lad playing for Sheffield Wednesday in the game tomorrow. I'm sure he'll want to try and score himself a few goals. And as I say, although they are in League One, they've been on some really good form. And Darren Moore has spoken about the hope that he can use the confidence gained by his side to really give us a good game tomorrow. And it's interesting because I think Newcastle will no doubt go in as the favourites to this one. But with a home crowd in a big atmosphere on the BBC with everybody watching, I've no doubt they will really try and put on a show. Eddie Howe has obviously spoken about that in his press conference, saying that he will not take this game lightly. We need to go down there, show them the respect they deserve, and get the job done. One promising thing for Newcastle, generally speaking, is that, compared to previous years where we have a very poor record in the FA Cup, I might add, going through the years. I think in the last 10 years, we've won the third round of the FA Cup once that didn't go to a replay. We've ended up beating Blackburn, Birmingham on replays. Yeah, it's not looking great, is it? And just think, last season, even with Eddie Howe, even with Kieran Trippier, we lost against Cambridge. And I do think that Eddie Howe will have that on his mind going into this one when we talk about balancing acts, when we talk about lineups, and we talk about the fact that Eddie Howe has said he wants to take the cup seriously. It's a dream to bring cup success to Newcastle. first of all, we need to make it through this third round. But what I was going to say was, generally speaking, compared to previous years when we would go to games, even against lower league opposition, and potentially not have as much of the ball as we want. At the moment, one of our real strengths is keeping the ball through phases of a game. If Sheffield Wednesday shoot out the blocks, just like Arsenal did, keep calm, keep composed, keep the ball, and I'm hoping it can be a good day for us tomorrow. If we can get a goal or two in the first half, we could get a few, and then that opens up the option to maybe make a few subs and give some players those rests. In terms of what Eddie Howe said this morning, he actually spoke about the fact that the balancing act, or the balance of the team, is down to him, and it's something that he wants to get right to be able to win the game, to go through to the next round. But as I've mentioned already, we also play on Tuesday, we also play on Saturday. We've just had a really hard fought game on Tuesday where players like Willock are crawling off the pitch. Like, there's no doubt to me that Willock will be rested for this game. The question is, who else will be? Who can he afford to bench? Who can he afford to rest? Well, there is some good news, and it's that ISAK is set to return for this game against Sheffield Wednesday. Eddie Howe said he's trained well this week. Sorry, just reading my notes down here. He's trained well this week. He is back in full training, but he doesn't want to put too much pressure on the player, which is understandable. I don't think Eddie Howe's going to come out in the press conference and go, right, everyone, ISAK's playing tomorrow. Get your cameras out. Let's all, he's going to... I think he could well start tomorrow. If I had to put a bet on, I would potentially say that he might come on from the bench, but I think he will be involved tomorrow. He also spoke about Lascelles. Obviously, he's the club captain who doesn't play. Although he does still get himself booked when he's trying to stop Arsenal from taking throw-ins. He spoke about how he's been very calm and patient and praised the captain to wait for his chance, which is suggesting that Lascelles will play tomorrow. He spoke a little bit about Elliot Anderson as well, a player who, despite our lack of depth in the midfield that we'll talk about in the lineups in a moment, has not been playing. He has not been getting the game time we want him to get, which, for me, in the short term, having Anderson as part of the squad and having an extra player available is crucial because we don't have the players. But for his long-term development, he should be playing football. He should be on loan at a team getting regular first-team football, championship side, building himself up. We can see he's got potentially signed a new deal. Eddie Howe can't let him go because we don't have the squad depth. But if he's going to sit on the bench and do nothing... In fairness, Eddie Howe has said that he's actually been nursing a small injury. Is that true? Or is he just trying to make a reason for why he's not playing? We'll assume it's true. He also went on to praise the defence generally. And then, as I said, that he needs to take this game seriously. Now, in terms of lineups, let me know your lineups down in the comments below. I do think they will vary widely, depending on what you think is needed for this game. Who can we afford to rest? Who can we afford to bench? Can we play the big dogs for the start of the game, and then if we're winning, take them off, bring somebody else on? Do we need to rest players because if we win the quarter-final against Leicester on Tuesday, it puts us through to the semi-final? What I will say is that if we weren't playing Leicester on Tuesday, let's say our next game was next Saturday, I think Eddie Howe, despite the fact that we're tired from Arsenal, could well have just gone full out with the side, made changes later in the game, but generally gone full strength and then give them a week's rest. Because it's literally Tuesday, Saturday, we can't play Dan Burn left back 4 games or 3 games in a week. The man will pass out. And we've already seen Willock, as I mentioned, crawl off against Arsenal. In goal, I've gone for Nick Pope. Despite the fact we've got about 1 million goalkeepers right now, Dubravka's returned, Darlow might go, Karius's deal is in question, Gillespie I don't think's even included in the squad list. Nick Pope. Could Eddie Howe throw a curveball and slam Dubravka in net? Maybe. Or has Dubravka burnt his bridges with Eddie Howe now? Is Dubravka back because he wants to try and move again this January? That's what I think. So I've gone Pope. Across the back line, This was a tough one. I've already mentioned Lascelles. I think he'll play. Eddie Howe has specifically mentioned him. And then after that, who do you put in? Botman. I guess he's younger than Shaw. Maybe doesn't need the rest quite so much. So we put Botman in there. And then the full-backs, I have gone with Trippier. Crafty's injured. Manquillo doesn't see the light of day at the moment. And it all goes back to what can Eddie Howe trust to get the job done. We've not seen Manquillo in so long. I think he'll possibly start Trippier. He's such a force for this side, not just playing-wise, but talking, captaining the side. Obviously, Lascelles will wear the armband. So I have gone Trippier. And then the left-back, I've gone with Dan Burn. Target's injured. We haven't seen Lewis. Could Richie play? Where's Dummett? Like, we actually have loads of depth in that left-back position, but it comes down to who plays there. We've just not seen these players, so it's really hard for me to say, oh yeah, I reckon Richie will come in, or I reckon Lewis will come in. I've no idea where Eddie Howe's head's at, how much Eddie Howe trusts these players, why have we not seen them in so long. I think it's not far away from a shout that he might go, you know what, Matt Ritchie, you play left back today against a League One side who, yes, I think will give us a good game, but we should be beating them. Yeah, we should be. I know I've given them the respect they deserve in this video, as we should do at the weekend. But despite their great form and despite our horrible record in the FA Cup over recent years, and actually not a great record against Sheffield Wednesday either, losing both the games we played against them in the Championship a few years ago, we're a different side now and we should be winning. I think Richie should be good enough, but I've stuck down. But it's a bit of a lottery, this one. In midfield, I've put Anderson in there. I've already mentioned Anderson. I think he deserves his chance to play in this game. And then after that, Shelvey's injured. Do you want to whack Fraser into centre midfield? Because if not, it's now between Bruno, Joe Linton, Longstaff. It's just all of the same guys. Willock needs his rest. So I've gone with Longstaff and Bruno with the idea that Joe Linton plays on Tuesday against Leicester. Unless you go Sean Longstaff, Joe Linton, and then play Bruno and Willock in the game on Tuesday. And then up front, I've gone Murphy. I think he's a shoe-in for this one. In fairness, he gets his stick. He's not the most impressive player at times, but he knows the system. He's played in a lot more. I talk about Richie Dummett and players that we've not seen in ages. Murphy does play, and Murphy knows the strategy of this side, the press, the hard work. So I've gone with him. On the other side, I've gone with Maxi. There's a lot of talk about Maxi. A lot of people want to see him feature against Arsenal as well to really try and get that form back for Maxi. He's a great player, and we do need to use him more often. And playing against a League One side, you'd hope he can, run a few rings around some of their full backs. And then I've gone with ISAK up front. Would love to see ISAK play. We want to get him the match fitness. We want to get him in there. Is sending him down to Hillsborough, where he's probably going to get kicked all over, the best way to introduce him? I don't know. And Eddie Howe spoke about the pressure that he's going to put under him if he calls him out. Let's not forget that Wilson and Almiron actually went off in the Arsenal game at the 65th minute. Now, I don't think that was because Eddie Howe thought, I better keep Wilson and Almiron fit for the big cup game against Sheffield Wednesday. I just think he took it as a chance to take two players off the pitch who were on yellow cards and needed to add a bit more energy to the field. But because of that, it wouldn't surprise me if we actually saw Wilson and Almiron start and tried to get Wilson 1 or 2 goals in the first half. Because that's the thing, as soon as it hits 2-0, the way we are at controlling games, I have nothing against us for the last half an hour going, right, get Richie on, get Murphy on, get everybody on, give everybody an extra half an hour rest. But you let me know your thoughts on the lineups down below. I do actually think that it will be a bit of a bingo, and with Eddie Howe, you never know sometimes. And I agree with him. We want to get the job done. The balance needs to be right. But you just don't know. You just don't know what it is. And you look at the Cambridge game, you even look at the cup games earlier in the Carabao Cup, where we just went, right, B team or second string team, and struggled in some of those games. So we don't want to see that tomorrow. We want to go down there, want to get the win, and try and kick on in this FA Cup before we try and kick on in the Carabao on Tuesday as well. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. I hope you have enjoyed this preview, a bit longer than normal, so if you are still watching after 15 minutes, be sure to subscribe. There is loads of videos on the channel at the moment. There'll be the full review, comments on the game. I'll be back at St James's Park for the Leicester game on Tuesday as well, and then for the Fulham game. So yeah, loads of video content right now. So be sure to subscribe, it's free. You just hit the big red button, but it does help the channel and it means you guys are notified of any future videos. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.